Some nights I come home late, the lights are already off. There's still a list in my head that didn't get done. I hear myself say be practical, plan ahead, don't fall behind. It sounds familiar. He didn't talk about dreams much, he talked about stability. I know what he meant now. Those strict words were building something solid. He didn't have spare hours, everything was a trade. His time for our comfort, his strength for our future. If I'm an investment, the return is hard to see. If he checked the balance today, he might not like what he sees, but he never stopped putting everything into me. He came home tired, still checked the door, still made sure everything worked. I thought he was distant, now I know he was carrying more than he ever said. I wanted warmth, he gave me safety. Sometimes I wonder if he ever doubts it, if he looks at me and does the math. I know what he meant now. Every do better was fear of a harder world. Every hard tone was trying to make me steady. If I'm not where I should be, if I'm still behind the line, at least I'm standing on what he built. He invested years without no contract, no promise, just believe that it would count. If he checked the balance today, maybe he'd worry, maybe he'd think it wasn't enough. But I'm still here, still working, still trying to grow. And maybe that's the return he was waiting for. And the clock moves slow, coffee stains on the notes I wrote, emails piling like yesterday, every morning the same old way. Trains arrive and the city hums, people moving like everyone. Another day on the same old line, just another day between 9 and 5. But then you walk in with that quiet smile, like the sun breaking through a while, and suddenly this ordinary place feels a little out of time. Or maybe love hides in ordinary days, between the lines of the things we say. In a room full of screens and light, you make everything feel right. 9 to 5 may stay the same, but every hour calls your name. In the middle of the daily drive, something woke between 9 and 5. Lunch break under the autumn sky, you laugh and the world goes quiet. Traffic rushing but time feels slow, like the city decided to glow. Little talks by the elevator door, moments I never noticed before. Somehow everything feels alive in the middle of 9 to 5. It's a small thing, nothing grand, just your coffee in your hand. But somehow every ordinary scene feels like part of a plan. And maybe love hides in ordinary days, between the lines of the things we say. In a room full of screens and light, you make everything feel right. 9 to 5 may stay the same, but every hour calls your name. In the middle of the daily drive, something woke between 9 and 5. Maybe nothing really changed. The same old streets, the same old trains, but the way you say hello makes the quiet moments glow. And maybe love hides in ordinary days, between the lines of the things we say. In a world that keeps moving fast, you make small moments last. 9 to 5 still rolls along, but now it feels like a song. And the life I thought was routine turns a little more like a dream, between 9 and 5. The carriage smells like rain and old fabric. My reflection floats over tunnel walls, a version of me that clocked in years ago and never clocked out. Same seat pattern, same sway in my knee. I know every stop without looking up. The city moves, I don't. The lights dim for a second, long enough to think it might end. We drift past each other like strangers sharing a name. The announcement cracks mid-sentence. Nobody asks. The ghost of routine sits where ambition used to be, always on schedule, never arriving. Across the aisle, there's someone sitting in my place. He's younger, posture straight, eyes lit like the first week of something new. He hasn't learned how to fold himself smaller to fit the hours. He looks at me like he's waiting for an explanation. The speaker stutters, next stop, next stop. It never finishes. The windows turn to mirrors, the carriage feels narrower. He mouths one word: remember. And I do. The lights dim again, not broken, just tired. We're outlines against glass, going somewhere we've already been. The announcement loops, nobody complains. The ghost of routine is patient. It doesn't chase, it replaces. The train slows, the doors slide open. There's no violet sky, just air that feels different. He stands, I stay, then I stand too. I leave the bag, the tie, the excuse. The doors close behind us. The train keeps going. Things I didn't notice, leaving. Work is just work, that's what I thought. You show up, you finish the day, you go home, nothing more than that. But somewhere in those years, something changed, and I didn't see it happen. A little pride, a younger year, a thought I chose not to say, a line I once wouldn't cross, small things I didn't notice leaving. It didn't happen all at once, just small moments you let go. A quieter answer, a safer word, a silence where you used to speak. And the day moves on like nothing happened. Maybe this is normal, maybe everyone does it. Maybe this is just how life works. Still, sometimes I wonder what stayed with me and what didn't. I used to trust, not gone, not completely, but softer now, like something that left without saying goodbye. The morning comes without a warning, gray clouds hanging over town, coffee steaming, tired windows, feet still moving through the crowd. We've been here 1,000 times now, broken plans and second tries, but the road keeps calling softly, even when the fire runs dry. No one said the climb was easy, no one promised skies are blue, but the sun keeps rising slowly like it always used to do. The world gets heavy on our shoulders, but we're still walking anyway. Every storm that tried to hold us couldn't make our footsteps stay. We've been down these roads before, nothing here we haven't faced. If life was never easy, then tonight's just one more day. Neon lights and quiet buses carry stories through the rain. Dreams we folded in our pockets still refuse to fade away. People stumble, people wonder how the night keeps lasting long, but somewhere in the distance there's another morning song. The world gets heavy on our shoulders, but we're still walking anyway. Every storm that tried to hold us couldn't make our footsteps stay. We've been down these roads before, nothing here we haven't faced. If life was never easy, then tonight's just one more day. Maybe hope is just a whisper, maybe courage looks like scars, but the sky is always changing, even after darkest hour. The world gets heavy on our shoulders, still we carry what we can, what we can. Every step becomes a promise that tomorrow waits again. We've been down these roads before, nothing here we cannot face. If life was never easy, we're still walking anyway.
Tag on your wrist, half zip dress, small twist, mirror catching every tight blink. Go back on the chair, your perfume in the air, hanger size, metal on pink. Under soft track light, shadows fall just right. You ask me if the shape feels true, I pin at your waist, you smile and erase, try to hide what the day did to you. It's the last client leaving, we're the last ones breathing in this velvet quiet room. Silk on your shoulder, world getting colder, but the night still smells like bloom. You turn, I learn every story in the seams. Last client leaving, closing down your dreams. Price tag tucked back, you say I'll just it online if it's meant to be. I nod like I know, but I watch you go in a dress you're not ready to keep. Keys in my hand, soft close sign, slow land on the door with a gentle touch. Your lipstick on glass, your laugh in the past, linger here almost too much. It's the last climb, leaving we're the last ones breathing in this velvet quiet floom. Quiet silk on your shoulder, world getting colder, but the night still smells like bloom. You turn, I learn every story in the seams. Last client leaving, closing down your dreams. Where's the ghost in the fitting room? Zippers and perfume, shadows of dresses that never walk home. My face in the dark glass, waiting for this day to pass. Locking up hearts to try on being alone. It's the last client leaving. I'm still here, still breathing with your echo on my sleeve. Silk on the counter, I wish I could have found you. The reason you wanna believe. You turn, I learn how to let go. See, last client leaving, walking out my dreams. Close hold, click, step, we begin. Gold dust on the concrete floor, give them lust, they want some more. Asymmetric, sharp and cold, stories that have never been told. Heart heel, heartbeat, echo skin. Every stair wants to crawl in. Velvet danger, cherry gloss. Every turn a little lost. Obsession in the fabric. Electric, cinematic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Obsession in the fabric, so tragic, so ecstatic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Cut out shoulder, brittle grace, soft as venom on my face. Every angle, quiet knife, tailor-made to slice of life. Obsession in the fabric. Electric, summer let it. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Obsession in the fabric, so tragic, so ecstatic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic. Walk for the gods, feel the magic.
across a little cafe table. You trace the rim of your glass. I tried to find the words I practiced, but they disappeared too fast. You laughed the way you used to, but something in it changed. Like we were playing older versions of who we couldn't stay. I remember when we swore we never let this fade. Now we're standing in the quiet of promises we made. We were young and we were certain love was all we'd ever need. Now the space between our hands says more than we can speak. I still feel you in the silence, in every word we don't say. Maybe love is just a moment that time can make us stay. You talk about your new life like it's something I should know. I nod like I'm a stranger, trying not to let it show. There's history in the pausing, in the way we look away. Like the past is still between us, but we don't know what to say. Maybe loving someone doesn't mean you hold them tight. Maybe it's just learning how to let them leave your life. We were young and we were certain we were never gonna break. But even forever has a limit it can take. If I see you in another life, I won't ask you to stay. I'll just thank you for the moment we once couldn't walk away. You were quiet in the kitchen light, hands folded like you made your peace. I was talking like the world was wide, like we had all the time we'd ever need. You smiled the way you always did, soft enough that I believed. Nothing in the air had shifted, nothing was bleeding underneath. But there was something in your stillness I mistook for staying calm. I thought we were holding steady, but you were already gone. I see it now. You weren't breaking us apart. You were letting go with both hands on your heart. Love was still in the room, but it wasn't enough to move the sky. I see it now. This was the end of the fantasy, not the end of you and me, just the end of who we promised we would be. You stayed gentle to the very end, left your keys beside the door. A kindness that I couldn't understand until I didn't hear your footsteps anymore. I kept searching for a reason, a bridge to burn, a ghost to fight. But some doors don't slam or shatter, they just close without a sound at night. You weren't asking for forgiveness, you weren't even asking me to try. You were standing in the truth and I was drowning in denial. I see it now. You weren't walking out in pain, you were choosing just outgrow the song. I see it now. You were brave enough to see what I couldn't let myself believe. Love was still in the room, but it couldn't make us free. I see it now. This was the end of the fantasy. Not a loss, not tragedy. Just the truth arriving quietly, quietly. The light is still on in the kitchen, but the fantasy is gone.
Your hand falls where it always does, across the sheet, palm open loose. Nothing in this room has changed. The lamp, the chair, the way you breathe. I used to look for signs in you, small shifts I could hold on to. Tonight I don't look for them, I let the silence stay. There was something I meant to ask, I let it fall. You answered by staying still. This is how it settles in. Not loud, not cruel, just steady as it is. Love still here, but not enough to move the walls. I feel it soften in my chest, not breaking, just done. You speak about tomorrow like it's already shaped. I'm not the way I always have, but something in me steps back. It isn't anger, it isn't fear, it's the quiet after trying. One last reach without my hands, one last wait without a word. The air stays where it was, and that is what I heard. This is how it settles in. No push, no pull, no one to defend. Love stays clean even as the staying ends. I feel my shoulders drop, like I've set something down I've carried long enough. I won't make you choose, I won't measure what you give. If it has to lean this way, I'll let it live. Tomorrow I will walk outside with only what is mine. No proof to ask for, no line to cross. This is how it settles in. Still warm, still real, just no longer ours to hold. I say goodbye the way I breathe, slow, clear.
We used to miss the last train home, talking past the morning light. Coffee turning into sunrise. Every plan felt like a flight. Now the kettle hums in silence. Keys and phones beside the plate. We still sit across the table, just a little more late. No slammed doors, no broken words, no shadows in the room, just the quiet weight of of ordinary days arriving a bit too soon. Nothing happened, nothing broke, no thunder in the night. We're still here, same two chairs under the same soft light. And I wonder when it changed. Nothing happened, still something's not the same. There was a time we'd walk for hours just to see another street. Every small and pointless moment somehow felt complete. Now the weekends come like weather, calm and easy, nothing wrong. Just a strange and quiet feeling. Something slowly gone. Nothing happened, nothing burned, no ending we could see. We're still here, side by side, just where we've always been. But I keep thinking, when it changed, nothing happened. Still something slipped away. I remember laughing once at the men in those old films, the ones who stayed too long after love grew thin. I never thought about becoming someone standing in that frame. Not a villain, just a man afraid things changed. Nothing happened, no storm came, no reason to explain. We're still here, same two lives running through the same days. And I wonder when it changed, nothing happened. Maybe that's how it happened.
That night the city held its breath. Your hand was trembling next to mine. We spoke like everything we said could bend the rhythm of all time. Streetlights burning in your hair, the whole world quiet in that glow. We thought a moment this alive was something history would know. But time is silent when it moves. It never asked what we were worth. It felt like thunder in the sky, like something shifting in the earth. Two hearts believing for a while we were rewriting how the world would turn. But days grow longer, years grow light, and people walk their usual roads. The love that once could shake the stars fades like a story no one told, like it never happened, like it never happened. The cafe where we used to sit now plays a song I skies grow small. Even love that changed the sky can disappear inside it all. It felt like fire in the dark, like every star had learned our names. But time keeps flowing like a tide and washes footprints from the sand. Now strangers pass the place we stood. The night dissolves in neon glow. The love that once could change the world becomes a thing nobody knows. Like it never happened. Like it never happened. We thought we were falling behind while the rest of the world moved fast, holding on to things too heavy for hands that weren't built to last. You said this has to mean something. I said I'm not sure it does. We were just two people waiting for something to start. We called it getting by, like it didn't take a toll, like we weren't slowly learning what we couldn't control. It didn't look like much back then, just the weight and the everyday strain, giving more than we had in the bank, with nothing to show for the pain. But I turn it over now in the blue light of this room. It wasn't what we built or broke, it was who I went through with you. We let the doubt sit in the corner, like a guest who wouldn't leave. Some nights you look so tired, I forgot how to help you breathe. We thought we were spending the best of the days we couldn't get back, but the quiet in between our words was something we didn't lack. We said it wasn't worth it, like we knew what that meant, like time was something simple, like it wasn't being spent. It didn't look like much back then, just the hours and the strain, trying hard to hold the line while standing in the rain. But I see it clearer now from this side of the years. It wasn't the wins we counted, it was how we stayed right here. It cost us more than we admitted, more than we let ourselves feel. But some things only start to matter when you realize they were real. The scale has shifted slowly, the heavy things feel light. What felt like losing everything was just learning how to fight. It wasn't worth it for the gain if you're counting up the gold. But there's another kind of wealth in stories we get to hold. It wasn't grand or shining, no applause, no hollow cheers, just the quiet way we stood our ground through all those nothing years. We didn't know it then, we know
I was 9 on Woodward Avenue, holding my dad's hand at the dream cruise. Chrome shining like it would never fade. He said the city's built from what we make. Grease on his shirt, radio loud, motor sound singing through the crowd. I thought engines would never die. They sounded like the 4th of July. By 15 I knew the names of streets where nothing stayed the same. 8 Mile felt like a line in the sand, like half a promise, half a plan. Factories quiet, windows cracked, the tires went west and never came back. But we still rode bikes past empty lots, like nothing ever been forgot. Nobody said it out loud, but the silence got heavy somehow. They still drive everywhere now, shiny wheels on brand new ground. But I remember the sound of this town before it slowed down. Michigan Central in the rain, like it's waiting for a train that might not ever come. Still feels like home. Just a layoff, I'll be alright. We all knew that wasn't true, but nobody knew what else to do. Still every Sunday, Lions game, same old couch, same old flag. We weren't broken, just worn thin, like the seats we were sitting in. You can pave over memory, but it don't leave. You can close down factories, but not me. They still drive everywhere now, but the road began right here somehow. From Woodward down to 8 Miles Bend, this city doesn't pretend. Michigan Central standing tall, like it's seated all. We were never just feeling rust, we were always us. They still drive everywhere now. 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 I was 9 on Woodward Avenue. I was 9 on Woodward Avenue. Oh, I was 9 on Woodward Avenue. Oh, I was 9 on Woodward Avenue. Thank you very much. A good mix up, baby.
Let the blues hold tonight. Is the day still on your mind? Like a weight you couldn't leave behind. Too many things you had to face, too many words you couldn't say. If the night feels cold and long and nothing today went quite right, You don't have to carry it alone. You can leave it here tonight. Is life pressing down tonight? Did something not turn out right? If the world feels heavy in your chest, you can lay it here and rest. And if the words won't come your way, we don't need to find what to say. Just stay here till the dark is gone. Let my blues carry us on. Maybe tomorrow will be kind. Maybe the clouds will drift away. But tonight we only need a song soft enough to stay. So if the silence feels too wide, come sit with me a while. We'll let the night drift slowly by and sing these quiet blues tonight. The gravel crunches under boots, a rhythm for the night. Just me and the railway fading in a silver light. A distant hum of iron wheels dissolving in the dark, like every quiet memory still echoing in my heart.
I'm not crying for the ending or the things we couldn't keep. I'm crying for the laughter buried somewhere deep. The world looks different through these older eyes of mine. A heart that holds both storm and sun at the same time.
If the sky could turn back pages, if the stars could realign, I'd walk this very road again just to find your hand in mine. Every stumble, every shadow led me where you stood. I'd choose this life 1,000 times. I'd choose it if I could. So if I see you standing there, I won't let go this time. I'll trade the maybe for the now and make the moment mine. We don't need forever spoken, we don't need a perfect vow. The ache inside my chest is proof The tracks stretch out before me like lines upon my skin. Every mile I wandered only led me back again.
I used to fear the silence, the space between the sound, but every quiet breaking was just solid ground.
I'm alright, I whisper to the open air. I hear you comes the answer, though there's no one there. The days I felt so frozen, like I couldn't move at all, were just the roots growing deeper, waiting for the call. Now I'm catching up to you across the space and years. Mornings on the horizon, drying all these tears.
The echo on the tracks is softer than before.
It's not goodbye I'm hearing anymore. And if I see you standing there, I won't let go this time. I'll trade the maybe for the now and make the moment mine. We don't need forever, promise. We don't need it written down. The love that shaped my broken parts is here with me somehow.
The wind is in my hair, I'm finally standing tall. I've grown enough to catch you, I've grown enough to fall.
This time I'm not running.
This time I'm not afraid.
Go to sleep, my darling. Let the silence be your bed.
This lullaby will find you everywhere you tread.
No more goodbyes, just a path that leads you home.
I'm waiting on the railway, no longer alone.
Quiet light across the glass, 1,000 stars I'm drifting past. The world I knew is far behind, a fading echo in my mind. The engines hum a hollow tone, a ship that carries just one soul. I never thought I'd be the one to face a dying sun. I never meant to be the hero, never asked to lead the way. I was only trying to find a road that led me home. I never meant to be the hero, I only wanted to go home. But somewhere in the endless dark, the silence spoke my name. And though the night was far too wide, and though the stars fell cold by a test of human will. No marching drums, no battle cry, just one small life beneath the sky. A fragile hope, a fragile flame. No one will ever know my name, but maybe in the distant dawn the light will carry on. Maybe courage isn't thunder, maybe it's a quieter flame, a trembling heart that still decides to face the coming day. Not because it wanted to, not because it wasn't afraid, but simply because leaving would have been the easier way. I never meant to be the hero, I never meant to stand alone, but somewhere past the edge of fear a different truth was waiting. And though the sky was burning out, and though the road had lost its way, if someone had to hold the morning, then I no songs will tell the things I saw, no monuments will mark this place, just quiet stars across the dark, and one small human trace.